You were there when no one else was. You gave them your time, your energy, maybe even your money, and then they turned on you. Not strangers, the people you trusted most. Friedrich Nietzsche didn't just predict this would happen to you. He explained exactly why it happens, and why it will keep happening until you understand one brutal truth about human nature. Stay until the end. What I'm about to tell you will change how you see every relationship in your life. Nietzsche had a word for this. He called it ressentiment. It's a French word he used deliberately because it goes deeper than the English word resentment. Ressentiment is the slow-burning poison that forms inside people who feel powerless. Here is what happens. When you help someone, when you show strength, generosity, or capability, it creates a mirror. And in that mirror, the other person is forced to see what they are not. They don't consciously think this. It happens below the surface. But deep down, your kindness becomes a reminder of their weakness. And weakness, Nietzsche said, always seeks revenge. Not revenge with fists. Revenge with silence, with rumors, with betrayal. The very act of helping them planted the seed of their hatred for you. Nietzsche understood something about power that most people never teach you. Every relationship has a power dynamic. When you give to someone time, money, loyalty, you temporarily hold power over them. Not because you wanted to control them, but because now they owe you something. And owing someone something feels like weakness. For strong people, this creates gratitude. They pay it back. They rise to your level. But for weak people, people who cannot tolerate feeling inferior, this debt feels like chains. So what do? They destroy the person who made them feel that way. They betray you. They gossip about you. They minimize your help. He wasn't really that helpful. She only did it for herself. This is not ingratitude. This is survival for the weak ego. Nietzsche called this slave morality, and it is everywhere. In his book, Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche described two types of people. Those with master morality, people who create their own values, who lead, who give, who act, and those with slave morality, people who define themselves by what they hate, not what they love. The slave does not say, "I am strong." The slave says, "You think you're better than me?" This is the herd mentality, and here is the brutal part. The herd does not reward the strong, the herd punishes them. Because if one person rises, it reminds everyone else that they chose to stay low. So they drag that person back down, with betrayal, with gossip, with abandonment. The person you help the most is the most threatened by your growth. Nietzsche wasn't being cynical when he said this. He was being precise. Here is something most people believe. If I do enough good for others, they will be loyal to me. Nietzsche would call this naive. Not because people are evil, but because most people are not yet strong enough to feel real gratitude. Real gratitude requires a certain level of self-awareness. It requires you to say, someone gave me something I could not give myself, and that is okay. For people who are insecure, people who cannot admit weakness, this is impossible. So instead of gratitude, they feel shame. And shame over time curdles into resentment, into betrayal. Think about the people in your life who have hurt you the most. Were they strangers? Or were they the ones you gave the most to? Exactly. So what do you do with all of this? Do you stop helping people? Do you become cold, closed off? No. Nietzsche's answer was more powerful than that. He said, give from abundance, not from fear. Most people help others because they are afraid. Afraid of being disliked. Afraid of being seen as selfish. Afraid of being alone. That kind of giving from weakness, will always attract people who exploit weakness. But when you give from strength, when you help because you choose to, not because you need their approval, you attract a different kind of person. Nietzsche also said this: the higher man must learn the value of solitude, not loneliness. Solitude, the ability to be alone without being empty. Because a person who is complete on their own cannot be destroyed by betrayal. They can be hurt, but not destroyed. And that is the only real protection you have. Nietzsche said, The snake that cannot shed its skin must perish. If you are still holding on to the people who betrayed you, waiting for an apology, hoping they'll change, you are holding on to a skin that is suffocating you. Let it go. Not for them. For you. If this video spoke to something you've been carrying, drop a comment below. Tell me who betrayed you. You don't have to name them. Just say, I've been there.